Sridharam Krishnam Smayamanam Mukhambujam Pitambaradharam Neelam Malyachandanabhushitam Radha Chitta Chakurendum Saundarya Sumahodadhim Parat Parataram Devam Brahmananda Kripanidhim Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavashvinim Bhagavatim Artadashadhyayinim Amba Tvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavad Leshvini. Our problems in life can be put in terms of various conflicts that we face. Of course, there are problems which are not exactly conflicts, but many are of the nature of conflicts, that you get torn between two or various possibilities that have opened before you. And when there is a clear choice, there is no conflict. But there is this fundamental conflict that exists between my opinion of the society that I live in, or opinion of the other family members. That conflict is somewhat easier to resolve. Deeper are actually our interpersonal conflicts within ourselves. Each of us is a bundle of conflicts. Our intellect pulls us in one direction, emotions pull in another direction. I want to do something, but yet I don't want to do it. It is, and they keep on changing all the time. In the morning you think that this is the right thing. As the sun goes up, your thoughts change and you think, no, that is the better thing to do. So, you are caught in so many different pulls. What will happen? Suppose somebody is pulling you by one hand, another person is pulling you by holding your other hand in two different directions. And you really feel, what can I do? You are torn between the two. So this being torn between two or more directions is a human life. Because human being lives on many different dimensions. There is the intellect, and that is one of the you can call problems or the tools, depending on whether it works for you or against you. So it is, when it works for you, it is a wonderful tool, but it can work against you too. So most animals do not have that evolved intellect. I mean, a planned activity that I want this, so I start planning the activity consciously, and thus actually plan and proceed in the planned direction. So this is an important special human behavior. There is other side too, that in spite of my planning, there is other faculty, my likes and dislikes, which are not determined directly by my intellect. It is more related to other faculty like emotions. And thus these emotions, they run in the opposite directions. So how now which path do I take? And these emotions, they have very intricate entanglements with so many objects, seen and unseen. There are entanglements which are seen, and then there are entanglements which are there but they are not visible. It is sometimes a very intricate knot. You have, say, one or two cords, and you tie them into a knot, and then that knot can become, by pulls here and there, and add more twist to them. So soon it becomes so difficult, so complicated, that you cannot really say which thread comes from where. So our emotions also get entangled so much that we are not able to tell what really I want in life. Because these emotions, they are not all on the surface, but they can surface at any time. And it is, something is subconscious, but at another moment that very thing comes at the conscious level. So if it just remains subconscious and does not bother us at all, then not much of a problem. Like mice in the house, so if they just remain isolated at one place and do not just trouble us, okay, let them remain. But if they start jumping on you and all, then you have to think of what is to be done, you see. So it is like that. Our emotions, sometimes you don't see them, and actually one feels that they are gone, they are not there. But after a while, suddenly they come up, and now you are at a loss to know how to deal with them now. They are right there, like a big elephant in the room. You have to do something about them, you just can't wish it away. So it's like that, our emotions, they become so big at that point of time that we have to find out some way to deal with. And already we have made other commitments, other resolves. But now this is the problem that I have to deal with. So my all resolutions and decisions, they have to be altered. But then I get torn between, I have thought a lot, and then after giving a lot of thought, I have come to a decision. Now, do I change that decision? If I don't change, I think I will be leading a very unhappy life. If I stick to my decisions, give up my emotions, is it possible? May not be. And if I go by my emotions, forget all my resolves, then again, probably I will be doing the wrong things. It is at every moment in this world, our life is a story of conflicts, and that is in fact, the main purpose of looking deep into our personality and finding out how these conflicts can be understood better. And when we understand, as they say in medical science, proper diagnosis is half cure. If you have the right diagnosis, then now you know what needs to be done. So it's like that. If you understand the source of these conflicts, then the problem can be tackled. And Bhagavad Gita is a wonderful science to do that. It is a very practical science. It is not just a philosophy that is about the afterlife and such things. No, it is right here. Swami Ranganathananji's that book on Bhagavad Gita emphasizes this, that it is not somewhere in the afterlife, here itself, ihaiva, right here. It is connected with your day-to-day present life. And that is why Bhagavad Gita begins with the background of a big conflict. You all know this story, I don't need to go deep into it. It is that basic story of Mahabharata, and the point of the big, all-embracing war between these two cousins and their armies is about to begin on the various issues of having the kingdom, whose is the kingdom, and so forth. So all the injustice that the evil cousins Kauravas have inflicted on these. Mahabharata is a great study in human psychology, that how no person is as such bad completely, and no person is good either, and we are all a mixed bag. Each of us have many desirable things and many undesirable also. Again, those which are desirable, they are desirable in a context. That context is important. In that context, it is desirable. In some other context, that very thing becomes undesirable. So, that is how our life is. And so, as you know, that this war is about to begin now. That is where the Bhagavad Gita begins. The story begins. And in the beginning there are the descriptions of the various armies. Actually, it is a description of Duryodhan, the king of that side of this family, the cousins, which were considered evil and who have snatched by deceit the kingdom that actually belonged to the other lineage. So, but now that he starts now telling about his own army and how this army is and how we have to approach this. So like the chief giving final instructions, he tells everybody that here is our general. Bhishma was the general in the army of Kauravas. Bhishma was the grandfather of both these cousins and was a warrior of tremendous repute. His reputation was such that nobody had been ever able to actually defeat him in a declared war as such. He always came out victorious. So that was the general of this army of Kauravas. And he begins the war. He blows the conch. That was considered the beginning of the war. So that is the first chapter, 12th verse. Tasya Sanjayanan Harsham Guru Vriddha Pitamaha. That Guru Vriddha is the senior most amongst this clan of Gurus, and he is fighting for Kauravas. Why he is fighting for them, I don't want to right now go into it. It's again an intricate moral issue involved in it. But Bhagavad Gita is such a beautiful text to shed light on all these complexities that we have to go through and encounter. It is the biggest difficult thing is how do I justify my being in this position, that you are with somebody, supporting somebody in some context for some reason, but that doesn't mean you agree with everything that that person is doing. But this in war, it is like this: you are with me, so you are against them, and in every respect, therefore now you have to support your side. It is an all-out war. It is not exactly like that in sports, that we'll talk about it tomorrow, but in actual war, it's like that it is an all-embracing situation. So now this Bhishma, he blows the conch to declare that here the war begins. So the war was announced by this side first, and then from both sides the conch started getting blown one after another. So it is the Arjuna and Sri Krishna, they then responded to Bhishma's call for war by blowing their conch. Yes, we are ready for you. Hey, we are not just sitting there to get killed by you. This is our war also. Come on. So they responded by blowing their conch. Bhima also. This is of course a minor point, nothing much, but it is all other conch blowing has been described in 1/4 verse, but Bhishma had been given full half verse. Bhima has been given Bhima, and that yes, Paundram Dadmo Mahashankham Bhima Karma Vrakodara. It is full one line has been given to Bhima, because Bhima had a big conch, so therefore, and he had big power, so he blew it with all that power. So Mahakar Shankham Bhima Karma Vrikodara. So like that, all the other warriors and lieutenants, generals, everybody started blowing the conch, declaring the war. Here it is about to begin. The weapons were unsheathed. This is the point now, that now the enemies are going to be attacked. The war is about to begin right at that point. Till now, the resolve was getting made. Yes, we have to fight this war. The decisions had been made. All the mental preparation was kind of done. now is the time to put that resolve into action. One may think it is a simple step that I have thought about it, I have decided, now just one more step. That is a very, very big step, to put that which you have judiciously thought and decided, but now when the time comes to practically act on it, now you get cold feet. Oh, should I really do that? For ordinary things, it doesn't matter much. Okay, I have decided to take lunch at 12:30 and so I will do that. It doesn't require much of a plan putting into action. It is not that big a problem. But when this is the question of life and death and lot of destruction from both sides, it is so many people, almost all day, about 18 millions, I don't know exactly how that unit it is, Aukshauhini. So there are some different counts how much one Aukshauhini mean. Some say one Aukshauhini is 1 million. So it is about 18 million people, army got killed in this war. Huge. Only some, about a dozen more or less, were spared. All other got killed. So this kind of a war was about to begin. And before getting into it, lot of thought had been there already. And considering from all sides, this momentous decision has been taken that there is no alternative but to fight this war. Now, when the plan is to be put in action, the main warrior on Pandava's side, these good cousins, he developed cold feet. Should I really do it? No, I had thought. Actually, if you see the Mahabharata a few days ago, before the war was happening, Krishna was going to make a last-ditch attempt to forge peace. So he was going as an emissary of Pandavas to talk, if possible, if some compromise can be arrived at and war can be averted. But at that time, here Arjuna was telling Krishna, no, that's going to be, you go, but it's not going to be of any use. Those cousins, those evil ones, they can only understand the language of my arrows. So now that very Arjuna is talking differently. Why? Now all those pent-up attachments and emotions, they have come up. And you now want to get away from it. Well, I had decided, but now I am getting second thoughts. It is not really having second thought, there is no thinking, but to find out an honorable escape from commitments. I had made commitment, but when I see that it is kind of too much, so I try to find out in some other way if it can be mitigated. There is a story that a man wanted some special benefit from goddess and said, okay, I commit. If I get this, I will sacrifice a buffalo. I will sacrifice a buffalo for you. Then because of the blessings of goddess or whatever, that got accomplished. But now buffalo, it is too costly, so he said, can a goat do? Goddess, you see, it is buffalo big. I think a goat should be okay for you, is it not? Then goddess said, okay, come on, at least goat, okay, do that much. But then he tried further to compromise. A chicken should be okay, I guess. So ultimately, that crickets that fly, he said, well, can that do? And then that Divine Mother said, well, if nothing, at least give that. Oh, they are flying around, why don't you catch one of them? So that is how our commitments, we try to escape from that. So Arjuna now wanted an escape route. He didn't want to actually act. His intellect was okay, but the emotions and the entanglements, attachments due to those emotions, they were now telling him that see if you can avoid it. So he tells Krishna, already shaken, the weapons, as I mentioned, have been unsheathed already. Pravritte shastra sampate dhanurujamya pandava. That is the word, the language here, see, that they dhanurujamya pravritte shastra sampate, the weapons are about to strike each other. At that point, now instead of getting into war, what does Arjuna tell Krishna? Seemingly as very unreasonable, irrational things. Krishna is the charioteer. So he is listening whatever the Arjuna, the warrior, is telling. He is just following the instructions. So he told that, please, why don't you take my chariot right in the middle of these two armies? And he has given a justification, not just that order, but one has to justify that. Why am I telling you this? Because so that I'll be able to see whom am I going to fight. Whom shall I be fighting? Just think, as if Arjuna didn't know whom he was going to fight. He was very well aware of whom he was going to fight. Already he knew who are the warriors on the other side. Then what was the purpose of this? Psychology. See, he is buying time. To arrange proper arguments to get out of it, buying time. We do that. It is all very much like our behavior when we are caught in conflicts. It is, okay, so that let me see. And now it is a very important point to note. Now with this mindset, when Arjuna goes and takes a look at the opposing army, what does he see? Earlier, just maybe 10 minutes ago, it was all the enemy army to be killed and to be attacked. That was what he was seeing. Now when the mind is filled with all emotional entanglements and attachments, enemies vanished. What is he seeing now? The words are wonderful, that it is, look at these words. And then that is described initially by Sanjaya, that Sanjaya says that thus when Krishna put the chariot right in the middle of the two armies, and then what Arjuna saw and what he is describing, Arjuna uvacha drishtvevam svajanam Krishna yuyutsum samupasthitam svidanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishushyati vepathuscha sharire me roma harshascha jayate. Seeing these kinsmen, O Krishna, arrayed with a view to fighting, my limbs fail. Here in the translation, that word swajanam is translated as kinsman, but swajana has much deeper that feeling. My own people, you see, my own, mine. That is the source of attachment. I and mine, as Sri Ramakrishna used to say, I and mine is ignorance. We call things mine. I and mine. Actually, there is no support for it. If we try to reason, there is nothing that I can call mine. Absolutely nothing. Even the body is not mine. It is all the microbes in the body, they say that's mine. Who are you to say that it is mine? It is, whose is this? And even the body is not mine. How to say, these are clothings are mine? The clothings, just because of the body, they are there. So how can you say that they are mine? But that is how we get entangled into the mesh of I and mine. So swajanam, my own people. Till 10 minutes back he was seeing the enemies to fight with. Now they became suddenly my own people. And what are there now? Tatra apashyat sthitan partha pitrun atha pitamahan acharyan matulan bhratran putran pautran sakhins tatha. It is all Bhishma, Drona, and when he saw all of them, how they appeared now, there, situated on both armies, Arjuna saw fathers as also grandsires, preceptors, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, associates, fathers-in-law, and well-wishers. It is all, you see, that seeing all these gathered together, the son of Kunti, he started wailing. What happened to him? Now say, Siddhanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishushyati. My body quivers and there is horripilation, the hair standing on the end. This word is not much known in America, horripilation. When I use this word, people were horrified, you say. What is this horripilation? That when the emotional upsurge is there, that is the response of the body, the skin shows that response, the hairs stand on their ends. So it is, and the mouth is dried up because of that nervousness. The nervous person in nervousness does funny things, It is, they tell the story that a boy wanted, to get introduced to one nice girl. He thought that she is so nice, and so decided to go close and tell her that you look awfully pretty. But then because of nervousness, he told, you look pretty awful. So, It is just because of nervousness the words get mixed up here and there. You don't know what to say. So it is. What did you say?
I said he could take it back by saying you're full of awe. Yeah, that's what I said.
So he might not have gotten a second chance after this experience, I think. So it is. So anyway, it is they. And who was this Arjuna? The well-known warrior of tremendous courage, a hero of so many difficult battles. His name would, just hearing his name would make the enemies just shiver with fear. That Arjuna now has become a bundle of nerves. Siddhanti mama gatrani, all my limbs are now sweating profusely because of nervousness. It is my body quivers. The Gandiva, that the big bow that was famous, in his hands, he would just shoot arrows with that to win battles after battles. That famed bow, he is not able to hold on to it. It happens like that, it is because it is the mind that is controlling the body. If you can see it in your regular computer also, when your system, the software gets a virus, then all that on the screen you see so many, what is it called? And the bubbles come up and all that. It is so. It is like that in our mind. When the virus gets in, all our body gets the reactions. The hardware all shows all this. These terrible reactions. Your voice gets choked. You cannot stand steadily. It is everything is kind of all the mailman. Okay. Yeah. Don't get nervous. Yeah. Not very big bills. Let us forget. Okay. So, and he says that Tvakcha paridahyate, my skin is just on fire, burning, and I am not able to stand. Brahmati vame mana, my mind is whirling in all directions. I am not able to decide. And then he somehow composed himself and gave a discourse on peace, how we should stop the war. Let us get away. And if it had been a thought out decision, no problem, but it was not a thought out decision, but because of the emotional entanglements, at this point he was not able to summon enough courage to put into action what has been thought out. This is a big dilemma, a big conflict that each of us has to face in life. And it is therefore Arjuna is now giving a long discourse to Krishna, telling the virtue of peace against war. And Arjuna is not telling anything wrong as such. Everything that he is telling, if you take an objective look, that is right. And even Krishna does not argue about it. Yeah, it's all right, it is correct. that war means destruction. The war means there will be a lot of people will get killed, a lot of women will become widowed, there will be so many other problems because of this destruction. So it is not good. And so Arjuna now, the warrior ready to start the war, telling Krishna some days back, do not go even for the peace talks, no use. That very Arjuna is now telling Krishna, what? Na kamshe vijayam Krishna, na cha rajyam sukhani cha. Oh, I do not wish for kingdom anymore. Not all these, I don't want any enjoyments coming due to this kingdom and victory and all that. What is the use of kingdom? Kim no rajyena govinda, kim bhogair jivitena va. What is the use of this kingdom, and what is the use of life anyway, and what is the use of running after these fleeting enjoyments and giving a really saintly discourse, you see, that it is, only thing is what happened to all this a few hours back, it could have made sense. Now at this moment, why these are coming? This is not coming out because of saintliness, but because of fear. Because now, and here Arjuna admitted, Siddhanti mama gatrani, that yes, I am not able to properly stand also. It is, all my energy is going away in that situation now, that, and it is, he says, I do not want to kill anybody. And he pleads with Krishna that even if those people, they kill us, it's fine. He says that, well, they don't know after all, they are ignorant. It is, they do not know, but that doesn't mean we who know should also behave like that. And that it is true that the kid does some mischief. Okay, well, the kids, they do not understand, so they do some mischief, they play like that. It is for kids, fine. But we are grown up, should we keep on screaming and doing like the kids? That doesn't become us, we should not be. So, he says that it is, therefore even if those Kauravas, they come and kill us, I am okay with it. I am not going to fight with them. Now, had it been a decision taken with thought and not because of fear, then what would have been the result? Arjuna would have been calmly and going away from there. That would have been the result. Yes, it is a well thought out decision that I will not fight the war. But that was not what happened. Arjuna got overwhelmed by what is called here Vishad, a combination of misery and depression. That is, this word Vishad means depression. And this misery that has overtaken him. So this is that thus speaking, Arjuna sat down on the chariot in that battle, casting away his bow and arrow, being grief-stricken at heart, full of grief. Means he was not liking his actions. He was not liking this thought process. But he was not able to even muster courage to act on the decision that he had taken earlier. So this is a conflict. That what should I do? My attachments, I and mine, they are drawing me in one direction. And then what I should be doing is pulling me in other direction. My judicious thinking is pointing one direction, and my emotional entanglements, they are pulling in other direction. Now what should I do? It is very difficult to do. Giving a talk about this is fine, but actually acting on it is not that easy, because it requires tremendous courage to do that. Arjuna was thinking, he was looking to Lord Krishna for support, that yes, he will slide with me in this moment of conflict and will give me a pat on back and say, yes Arjuna, how saintly your behavior is, excellent, so come on, let us go out of this war. And as you said, they are going to have all the kingdom, we will not have anything, we will be forced into life of beggary. So come on, you take one begging bowl, I will take another, and let us go begging our food, isn't it? That is what Arjuna thought Krishna will say, what a great saintly person you are. I never suspected this saintliness in you before. But that is not what Krishna tells. This is the first example of this conflict resolution. We should have the courage to stand up to the challenge. It is that we have taken a decision, thinking from all sides. Now these emotions, they have come up. They have to be dealt with firm hand. It is, one should not succumb to those weakening impulses. Strength is the most important virtue needed when we have to deal with conflicts. The inner strength is most important ingredient to deal with these things. If we are not strong, then we will be just wiped off. It is, we may keep on shouting against other people, laying blame on others, laying blame on situation, laying blame on politics, all that. But the real problem is I do not have enough strength. It is I have to muster courage, muster strength to deal with this situation. And that is what Krishna tells Arjuna. Instead of giving him pat on the back, he gives him a big blow. It is, what? What is this? It is, the words are really so potent. In fact, Swami Vivekananda therefore mentions that these are the most important verses of Bhagavad Gita. Somewhat strange statement, and not much philosophy is involved in it. But practically these really are very important statements, that we have to learn to hold on to our resolves, to be strong. And Swami Vivekananda is personification of strength, gives the message of strength. He says that weakness is death, strength is life, weakness is death. That is really very important thing in life, to be strong. Strength is all religion, weakness is all sin. It is, by becoming weak, we do not become virtuous. It's a very wrong idea that if I am weak, well, if one is weak, then one cannot stand firm against temptations. We will commit all sorts of bad actions because we cannot hold ourselves against their onslaught. So, therefore, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Lord started addressing Arjuna in a very chastising manner, and chastising in very sharp words. It is Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame samupasthitam anarya justam asvargyam akirtikaram arjuna klaibyam masma gama partha naitattvayupapadyate kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktvottishta parantapa. That whence, O Arjuna, has this weakness, not entertained by honorable people and nor conducive to the attainment of heaven and leading to ill fame, come on you at this time of crisis. At this crisis, this is the crisis. Now, actually what is most needed is the resolve, the strength that is needed. And instead, what has happened to you? You have given to the weakness. Where from this weakness came? From nowhere as such. At this point, when actually the strength was the need of the hour, and you are succumbing to weakness. And he further tells, don't succumb to this unmanliness. It is Klaibyam Asma Gama Partha. Don't yield to this impulse of unmanliness. Stand up, hold on to your resolves, and this doesn't become you. No, it is you means Krishna is really telling us all that it doesn't become us. We are people who can act on the resolves, who can bring whatever we have thought out into action. It is a very important thing to bring a coordination between our thoughts and actions. It is then we are free from conflicts. Otherwise, the conflicts, they would be raging in our life. A really very destructive thing for us, putting us into all sorts of sufferings. Because of this, we cannot act according to our decisions. So, and why we cannot act? Just because of cowardice and weakness. Human beings, because of their intelligence, they cover up their weakness with very flowery words and give it an appearance of being saintly and compassionate. It is being done through weakness, but it is painted as if it is a compassionate and saintly behavior. Not at all. It is out of fear and lack of courage that this is Arjuna is doing it. That is why Krishna does not enter into the merit of all the arguments that Arjuna has given. Not a word about them. Yes, that is all true, but it is not that it has become true just now. When you made the resolve to fight, it was true then also. And even if you do not fight war, Well, what are the alternatives? That also you know. That is how we have to muster up courage and hold on to the resolve. It is then our conflict will get resolved. At least the first step to resolve the conflict is strength. So do not succumb to unmanliness, do not succumb to weakness. These emotions and intellect both are very important things in life, but they are important in their own position. Intellect cannot take place of emotions, nor emotions can take place of intellect. Both are good, both are important in their own place. It is like in our car, you need an engine. Without engine the car will not move, you see. And the engine is necessary. And also the steering and other controlling mechanism, that is necessary. But the steering cannot act like engine, and engine cannot act like steering. Both are very good, both are necessary. If one of them is not there, there will be no car. It is, we put that where the thefts of the cars are very rampant, they put a steering lock. What happens even if the thief enters the car and can start the engine? The car cannot be taken anywhere because will not be able to move the steering. So that is why both are necessary. But the steering doesn't provide the power or motion to the car. It can provide only direction. So our intellect is that. Our intellect is there to guide the emotions. So in the absence of intellect, the emotions, the power will just destroy our life. So both have to be properly coordinated. In other place, in Kathopanishad, therefore there is this beautiful analogy that how a person, it is another topic, but it is this coordination in our personality is described there, that how our this faculty of action, faculty of thinking and faculty of emotions, as they say, head, heart and hands, the three H, they say 3H in education. In the science of education, they mention these 3H, yes, 3H, that it is head, heart and hands, a coordination of all these three. So that has to be there. So otherwise, suppose that it will be like 4 wheels of car going in 4 directions. The car will not go anywhere. That is the meaning of conflict in our life. So it is, Krishna therefore tells Arjuna, no, this is not right. And this first resolution of conflict comes here. Arjuna understands. When we get a blow, it makes us introspective. When we have all the sycophants and people who keep on saying yes to us are around, there is no scope for introspection. And it is somebody who is has the courage to tell that you are not right. That is, such people are necessary. It is... I remember that one incident in my own, when I was in college, and then in the exam I didn't get good grade, and then my friends, mostly they sympathize with me. Oh, well, it happens. And that professor we know, he is kind of a bit crooked. He must have given you deliberately. We know you ran in conflict with him. So he must have deliberately given you such things and all that. So I said, yeah, that must be the case, otherwise I am such a brilliant student, you said. So it is. But one of my friends brought me down. You see, you are intelligent, but you are not as intelligent as you think you are. Oh, wow. That was really a wake-up call, Yeah, it is very important. So, and that was a great lesson that I learned at that point. It is a very important thing to understand this. That so somebody who gives you a blow, that makes you think, introspect. Something has gone wrong. Let me find out. The common tendency to blame others, it is a soothing thought that I am right, those others, they messed up everything. I am so good, the whole world is bad. That is how it is. It makes us feel good, but it doesn't solve the conflict. If the conflict is to be solved, then introspection. So Arjuna, who was giving a lecture to Krishna, now decides to become a disciple. Until now he never felt the need. Oh, he is after all my charioteer. I will be telling him, hey, come on, do this or do that. It is. Now he sees that he needs some good dose, some medication, some advice. And therefore, that's a very important prayer that it is, that comes here in the second chapter, where after actually the teachings of Bhagavad Gita actually begin. And he says to Krishna that this is my conflict, that how can I kill all these who are like my beloved teachers and my close relatives, Bhishma. How can I go to kill him? Was he not he who, as we were children, used to just carry us on his shoulders? How kindly he had taken care of us. How he, because of his arrangements, we got all this education. It's all because of him. And now instead of worshipping such personage, we are Katham Bhishma Maham Sankhe Dronam Cha Madhusudanam Ishubhi Pratiyotsyami Pujar Hau Harisudana. Pujar Hau, they are worthy of being worshipped. Pujar Hau. And instead of worshipping them, what am I doing? I am firing arrows on them. I am trying to kill them. Shubhi Pratiyotsyami. Is it becoming a good person? I don't think I should be doing it. But I am caught in conflict. That it is, he says, that Nacha etad vidma, 6th verse in the 2nd chapter. And thus we do not know which would be the better course for us, whether we should conquer them or they should conquer us. See, if you are standing for fighting, what do you think? It is good for us to conquer. That is why you are in fighting there. You don't go to fight, oh Lord, make me lose the battle. No, you go there to be victorious. But see Arjuna's state of conflict. He says, I do not know what is better. न च एतद् विद्मः कतरं नो गरीयो यदि वा जयेम यदि वा no jayeyu, whether we win the war or whether they win the war, what is better I don't know. Look at the level of conflict. It is because we do not wish to survive after killing all these near and dear people. So I don't know what is better. And I am just, my brain is not working. All my faculties now are at they have become incapable. It is karpanya dosho. These words are not very easy to translate, Karpanya dosho apahatas svabhavaha prichhami tvam dharma sammudha chetaha. It is yat shreyasya nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham. Here is the first time that Arjuna says, I am your disciple. Please instruct me. Not only instruct, the word see, Shadhimam Tvam Prapannam. I am taking refuge in you. He is, see, on the one side, Krishna is his friend from childhood, not a teacher. A teacher is actually there in the other side of the battlefield. So it is, but here his friend, just they had lot of pranks played on each other and all that, like children do. Since then they are friends. So it is now that very friend he is addressing as my teacher, Guru. You are and I am your disciple. Shadhimam, take me out of this terrible situation. Protect me and bring me out. Because he is seeing that there is no way out of this conflict. Only this God's advice, that God who is within us, that is a very important principle that we have to remember. God is available to everyone. The other teachers, advisors, or psychiatrists may be available, may not be available, may be qualified, may not be qualified. But this teacher, the most qualified teacher, is available to all of us. But we don't normally approach. It is only when we are in such tight corner, then the thought of God comes. It is, and then it vanishes also. Once you are taken out of that tight corner, then one forgets that I was telling that example. When that fellow was in a tight corner, he said, take me, do this favor and I will give you a buffalo and all that. It is, when you are in tight corner, you start thinking of God. So, that is why, as a compassion, God gives us lot of tight corner situations, so that at least we will remember at that time. That is a compassion, So this is therefore the yoga of Arjuna Vishada Yoga. It is the yoga, and yoga means getting connected to God, who is your true nature. That is the yoga. So when do you do that? In what situations? Vishad. Through misery, through suffering, through Vishad, you connect to God. Not that everybody does it. Vishad comes in everybody's life. That despondency comes in every life. But that does not necessarily take everyone to God. It is, therefore, let us use this Vishada, this despondency, this suffering, this depression, let us make use of this depression to connect to God. That is that message, So, and Arjuna connects to God and sees that only you can save me. And this is another great important perception that we have to have, that nothing else is going to solve this problem. Arjuna makes it very clear in the next verse, that even if I get the kingdom of the whole three worlds, this problem is not going to be solved. I do not indeed see that which would remove this grief of mine that is utterly drying up my senses. That's the language. That yat shoka mutshoshanam indriyanam, that drying up all my faculties, all my senses. It is, but he is sure what is not going to work. What is not going to work? Even if I were to attain in this world a kingdom without rivals, and prosperous and even lordship over gods, avapya bhumau asapatnam riddhau rajyam suranam api chadhipatyam. Even if all these things come to me, this problem will not get solved. The grief will still remain. And just as this grief is not going to go away, whether you put a crown or not. If you put the crown, you will be grieving with crown, otherwise without crown. That's the thing. Whether you put this shirt or that shirt, the grief remains the same. Only the shirt that will change. Which shirt will get wet by your tears, that will be different, that's all. It is like that. Nothing in the world is going to be useful to get over this difficulty. That is the terrible situation. And so he says, please take me out of this. Only you can take me out of this. And that God is within us. We have to rely, hold on to that strength. That is the only source of strength. So we have to approach that. Otherwise there is no source of strength. It is. Yesterday we were listening to many songs while driving here, and one of them is Surdas, that very famous bhajan, that he says that there are so many types of bala, the energy or power. There is Ajabala, Gajabala, that Bahubala Chautho hai Baladam, that it is that there is the power of horses and cattle and elephants, Gajabala, they are all very powerful. But and then there is the Bahubala, you may be very powerful person, your own arms are strong. And then Chautho hai Baladam, power of money. But all these Bal, they are not going to work. Only Sura Kripa, Prabhu Kripa, that is the only source of power. And with that power, everything is, one is able to conquer. It is, we do not have that faith. We think that some other things will be helpful. It is okay, God, okay, maybe, but some other thing. That story, that a man was falling down from a cliff and somehow was able to have a hold on some of the stone protruding out there, and so he screams that, is there somebody? And then he hears the voice. God says, I am God standing down here to hold you. Just give up your hold. I will hold you. No problem. Then this fellow thinks for a second and says again, cries, is there anybody else? Yeah, it is the God we don't believe. Somebody else, yes. It is the God because we don't see. It is within, right in ourselves. So just we have to invoke that, and then the heart will be full of strength and confidence. And then when that confidence comes, we can tackle any problem. It is very important to see this. So then the Lord started telling this advice, giving his advice. He points out that, look, you are not able to understand this distinction between what is dying and what is not dying. The conflict is here also. It is a conflict. What is dying and what is not dying. And we have to see penetratively that what dies, the body that keeps on changing, and that dies. Can it ever be stopped from death? No, it's the very process of body is that it is a sequence of chemical changes that's happening. It is dying every moment. It is, you can't stop body from dying. And yet, there is something that does not change, on the basis of which we recognize that I am the same person. And the body has changed since yesterday the evening you went to bed. What you were, so many changes went into that. You had nice food and all that. So that has become now part of the body. It has changed. And since, although all this is changed, there is not an iota of doubt in your mind that you are the same person. In spite of the body having undergone changes, none of you have any doubt that what I was this yesterday, same person. Do you have, Jahnavi, any doubt that the Jahnavi that sat in the bus yesterday is different now? Is it a different person that has come? No, same person. You are very sure that I am still Jahnavi. I sat in the bus yesterday and we left Baltimore or whatever at this hour, and then we reached here what time? 2 o'clock. I reached at 2 o'clock. I boarded the bus at 9 o'clock. I reached it. See, the same I, not somebody else. Now, so one person boarded the bus and somebody else came down at 2 o'clock. Same person. But the body is changing all the time. So what is not changing? The conflict is to be seen at this level, changing and unchanging. That which changes, well, a stage of change reaches a point when you say it is dead. You cannot revive it anymore. There is that nice story that a man, a doctor, he was an orthopedician, so his office was being shifted. And so all the things were being taken, and they have a skeleton, human skeleton also in their office. So that was also put on a cart and was being taken. And then on the sidewalk, one lady asked, "Where are you taking this?" "Oh, that doctor's office." "Well, you may take, but I think it is rather too late." So it is a bit too late now to take that fellow to the doctor. Should have been done earlier. So it is at one stage now you cannot connect it to the old body. It is gone. So you call it death. That the continuity seems to be now not connectable again. So you say, well, dead, gone. So it is the property of body. But then you are not changing in this process at all. You remain intact. It is so it is this conflict. What is dying and what is not dying. There is a tussle between these two. What should be considered as I? So that is I think we don't have much time now. Do we have some questions now? Okay, if you at all have any questions, you have the freedom to ask. Where is that Subeta? He had the mic yesterday.
Same mic in another hand.
Hey, correct, yeah. Same mic. Same mic ho kintu amike bhave dibe.
Wow. Very good.
Yeah.
Maharaj, it's very interesting. Sri Krishna didn't speak anything in first chapter, and he let Arjuna speak all the way around. Till the point he ends, and at the point he has given up completely, then only he speaks up. Any perspective on that part?
Yes, very important question. That in the first chapter only Arjuna is speaking. Unless there is the desire to know, unless there is a discipleship, Krishna is not just going to pour all this wisdom on unwilling brain, Okay, you are talking, talk. But Arjuna is just emptying himself. So when Arjuna became emptied, now something can be filled, There is that Zen story that a man comes full of ego, and that I know everything, but people say that this Zen master is good, so let me go to learn. And then the Zen master said, okay, yeah, we can discuss things, let us have a little tea. And then he brought the tea kettle, the cup, but were there 2 cups, and then he started pouring tea in his cup. And even if after the cup was filled, he started still pouring. Hey, what are you doing? Exactly, he said that can this cup hold anything more? It is already full. So you have come to me with this kind of cup and you want me to teach you. Nothing else will go there. It is already too full, so you have to empty it. So the first chapter is, you can look from this angle too. Arjuna is emptying himself. So now ready to listen to Sri Krishna's advice. Grudgingly though, we are not very eager to listen. Sri Krishna, he told Krishna that please teach me, but then puts a caveat. but don't tell me to fight. I am not going to fight. Whatever you may say, give me all other advice, but don't tell me to fight. So that is how we also tell the gurus that, oh, okay, I can do this, maybe. Don't tell me, I am your disciple, instruct me, but don't tell me to do this. Why? It is if you have taken refuge in Guru, let the Guru tell and you try to follow. Why you want to take decision? So therefore let Krishna waited till there is the receptivity. And in this world, when we start arguing against ourselves, Arjuna was arguing against himself actually. When we do that, there comes a point when we run into contradiction. And then we see how wrong we are. And then we are ready to listen to words of advice. Till then, they won't go in. So Krishna is wise enough not to speak. He is not like we people, even though it is not needed, we keep on giving advice, you see. It is, and that shirt I had told last time about, somebody had put on that shirt. It was written on it, take my advice, I never use it. So it is, that kind of a, so we are too eager to give advice, but it is, Krishna is the teacher, knows when to speak, when not to speak, when let Arjuna speak, and like that. You will see this in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a study in psychotherapy, how the mind needs to be trained gradually. It is, you can see that. That is why Krishna did not say a word. And that is also a teaching, not to say a word. Okay, so they don't have any conflict, so thank you.
We don't have any conflict with what you said. We have other conflicts with that.